we're back on the giant beanbag. Sorry I didn't upload yesterday. I don't want to apologise and make this like an apology thing, but yeah, sorry I didn't upload yesterday. I am actually in the middle of having a fibromyalgia flare-up, which I was just kind of hoping wasn't going to be an actual flare-up, but it is fully becoming like a big flare now. I mean, it's 1 PM and I have like just gotten up and started to like get ready for the day. So I'm sat on this giant comfy beanbag with a big hot water bottle. I'm gonna try and film and hope that I can string a sentence together. Yesterday I literally could barely talk and make words, so fun. So I've made lots of videos on this channel already about book tropes that I don't like and tropes that are very often seen in books which I feel like could be done a little bit better. Today we're going to talk about the token gay trope, which is not just like specific to novels. This is prevalent in movies and TV shows as well, but obviously we're talking about books and the book side of things today. But this is something which is in various forms of media and it's actually like, it's not great. Now if you're like, what are you talking about, what do you mean by this trope? The like token, it doesn't even necessarily have to be like gay, but we're gonna just talk about the token gay trope. But there's always like, there could always be like a token diverse person, but in this instance the token gay trope is usually is a character that is present in a book who is not a main character. They are a secondary character usually, and the probably main thing that we know about them is that they're gay. Like if you actually looked at what the other aspects of their personality was, we probably wouldn't know much outside of the fact that they were gay, which is fine. It broadens the appeal of something. There's a gay character in it. It means that like it kind of opens a discussion or maybe some jokes that they could use, and also it's like, we can never be offensive. Look, we put a gay person in this story, they're there to be gay and that's it. That is why the character is there. They've not been written for any other purpose than to be the gay character. And while some people would be like, well yeah, that's great, they're writing in gay characters into books, which is what we need. That is true, but we need it to not be done this way. It needs to be done correctly. And their only purpose in life is not to be gay. Most of the time they know that adding in those characters, they feel like they kind of have to, or they feel like it would widen that appeal and they know that, and it just, a lot of the time when I've experienced these stories, that having that gay person there does not feel natural at all. I just want to talk about like some of those aspects of that, you know, and even though they know that and they'll know that people say there's a gay character in this, which is good because we want to talk about LGBTQ+ literature and we want to talk about these characters, but there isn't any thought that goes into it. They might develop their main character who is probably straight, and they'll have a backstory, they'll have a life, they'll have family, and I know that secondary characters are not always as well developed anyway, but the point of this token gay character is to be gay. They're not there because that would be an accurate portrayal of humanity. They're not well-rounded characters. Like, they're there to have that tragic background, they're there to be comedic effect. They're not like actual people part of the story. They are the gay, they are like gay. That's it. They are the gay person in the story, and that's all we will probably know about them. One of the issues of reducing someone to just being gay and not discussing any other aspects of who they are as a person is that they do tend to pander to the stereotypes of a typical gay person. As we know, there is not one typical gay person. There are all different types of gay people. There are all different types of LGBTQ+ people. The reason why I'm saying gay is because a lot of the time this character is a gay man. It's very rare that it extends outside of this. There may also sometimes be a lesbian, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But this token gay character tends to be very sassy and flamboyant and what people consider to be the typical gay stereotype. There are gay people that are like that. There are also straight people that are like that, and it's really kind of negative to kind of play to those stereotypes where there is such a wide variety of people, and that's very rare to see in the books with the token gay character. They're usually always very sassy, very flamboyant, and very much do pander to that stereotype. You can't just think, well, okay, so this is what a typical gay person is like. Like I said, they are usually men. If they do include women, these women women are probably usually very like confused. It's very rare that at the start they'll know what their sexuality is. They probably have a boyfriend at the beginning of the story and then they'll end up with a girlfriend at some point. But again, we won't see the growth of this. We won't go into detail with that. It'll just be that like she found out she was gay and that's it, and she'll also be what is considered like a stereotypical lesbian. Does that sound familiar in lots of books that you've read or TV shows that you've seen? Are you recognizing this person which just gets added in but actually does have no purpose to the plot and has no backstory or like actual personality? Yeah, it's great that people want to include LGBTQ plus characters in their stories, and I'm not discouraging that at all, but you really need to think about why you're including them. Is it to actually make them a decent, well-rounded character with a personality and thoughts and opinions and just make them into an actual character and an actual person? Or is it because you feel like you need to add someone in, or you're trying to pander to something specific, you're trying to pander to an audience? Do you actually know much about it outside of these stereotypes that are presented, which can not always be the most healthy to kind of present to people? Do you actually want to do some research about that and about these people and who you want to have in your book, rather than just kind of including someone with very minimal research in it? It needs to be natural, it needs to be authentic, they need to be an actual person, just like LGBTQ plus people are in real life. That's what we need to have. You can't just put someone in there just to put someone in there. It needs to feel just as natural as any other character that you may include. LGBTQ plus people are so varied, from so many different places all over the world, nationalities, ethnicities, with so many different traits and personalities and families and backgrounds and stories, that you can't just have this like token person which represents gay people in a book. You have to have that exploration of it. Some of the best LGBTQ plus fiction I've had with pairings, if it's like with trans characters or lesbian characters, bisexual characters, pansexual, asexual, gay, all of these characters have so many different backgrounds. No two people in a relationship, even if both of those two are gay, both of those two are bisexual, both of those two are lesbian, both of those two are pansexual, etc, etc. None of those two in any stories that I've read are the same people, and that is what it's like in real life as well. People may be similar, but everyone's going to have that different background, that different story, different aspects of their life, which is going to have made them into the person that they are, and they're not always going to fit into those gay stereotypes. Stereotypes are not always harmful, but they also can be. I think you need to think about like where stereotypes come from and why we need to be exploring so many different varieties of what people are like. So many times you hear people say, well, they wouldn't look gay, or oh, I bet they're gay. Like, why do you know that? What makes you think you can look at a person and like say that? Never assume someone's sexuality. Never pander to those stereotypes that exist and be like, okay, well yeah, they're definitely straight. You don't look gay. What is gay? What means you look gay? Like, what about anything means that you look gay? Like, it's so frustrating to see that stereotypes are still such a big thing that people kind of put on the LGBTQ plus community, that there are different stereotypes that exist. For example, that bisexual people have to cheat because they can't, they're greedy and they can't be in one relationship. Like shit like that. It's just stupid. Honestly, it's so frustrating. Like, they look like so many different people, they have so many different characteristics, and that is the same. And if you're including these characters, you really need to think about that. If you're developing a gay character who has a personality and has a background and has a whole story, and they are a flamboyant, sassy gay character, then that's fine, because that's their character and you've developed that, and that is a well-rounded person who is not just there to be that stereotype and to be that gay person, because they have an entire story and background and they are a well-rounded written character. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. That's great. But you can't put them in there to act like that, to only act like that, to be your token gay character, because so that you can think, well, I've added a gay person, sorted, don't need any more thought into it. You need to think about the way that these characters are being written, the way they're being introduced, and their purpose in the story. Are they just a pointless secondary character? And if so, why? Why do you feel like you need to put them in if they're not going to be any kind of importance or relevance or developed at all? It's messy. As a reader, you can tell that this character has just been plopped in there just, you know, to make the book a bit more diverse. They've got no other purpose in the book than that. That's what they are in the book. That's who they are, and that's when it becomes problematic, because you can't just like labelled them for that. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I obviously am all for LGBTQ plus literature and fiction, and please write those characters, but know how to write those characters properly, to do them justice and to not pander to those stereotypes and to not kind of fuel those stereotypes even further, and to actually give them a purpose rather than just putting them in there to earn brownie points because you added an LGBTQ plus character. Does that make sense? I hope so. You get what I mean? I hope you get what I mean. I just think it's really just like, it's just important to think about. I think if you're going to be writing diverse characters, you need to think about the way you're writing them and properly. People aren't just their stereotypes. People are so much more than that, and so varied, and people are so varied, and I think that's something which is really important to think about. Not like there's one type of straight person, there's not one type of gay person, there's not one type of lesbian, there's not one type of bisexual, there's not one type of transgender person, there's not one type of pansexual person or asexual person. It's all varied, and that's what I think needs to be thought about when writing stories about these characters, rather than having them just put in there just for points. I hope that made sense. I'd love to know your thoughts on this topic down below. Again, I'm so sorry I didn't upload yesterday. I'll try and upload 2 videos at some point over the next couple of days to make up for the lack of one yesterday. If you guys are new here, then I make videos a couple of times a week about books and fandomy things, so if you want to stick around and join us, then you can hit the subscribe button down below. And as usual, all the links to all my other social medias are in the description as well, if you want to come and hang out with me on there. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you're doing really well, and I will see you next time. Bye!